Patch 8 is officially out, which means we've got all new subclasses to go over, so let's start with the Barbarian, and this is the Giant Barbarian. We're going to level by level, combat tutorial, all the items you could need, so we start with the Barbarian. And this gives us, obviously, Rage meaning we can go into a Rage, we gain a whole bunch of benefits like extra damage, all sorts. We also gain Unarmored Defense, so when not wearing armor, you add your Constitution modifier to your armor class. Wearing heavy armor impedes your Rage. So you could go light armor, you could go medium armor, or you could just go for clothing, which is what I'm doing, and then gain the bonus to your AC. We gain strength saving throw proficiencies, constitution saving throw proficiencies, and then simple weapon, martial weapon, light, medium, shield proficiencies. When it comes to your ability points, I would have 16 strength, 14 dexterity, 16 constitution, 8 intelligence, 10 wisdom, and 10 charisma. For your proficiencies, take whatever you feel like. Barbarian level 2 brings danger sense, so you sense when things aren't as they should be. You get advantage on dexterity saving throws against traps, spells, and surfaces. We also gain reckless attack, meaning we can turn on advantage on attack rolls, but enemies will also have advantage against us. Barbarian level 3 is where we get to pick our specialization, so of course we're going with the Giant. You walk the path of giants, invoking the elemental might and size by drawing strength from the same primal forces as them. This gives you Vapard's Greed, so our carrying capacity is increased by a quarter. Giant's Rage. So enter a rage and increase in size. Your rage damage bonus is doubled on throw attacks, gaining resistance to physical damage and advantage on strength checks and saving throws. We also gain Thaumaturgy. Barbarian level 4 brings a new feat. We also gain a health increase. So the feat, you probably guessed, we are going to take our strength to 18. Barbarian level 5 brings extra attack. So if we make an attack with our main action, we can do an extra one. We also gain fast movement, so if we're not wearing heavy armor, we increase our movement speed by 3 meters. And Boots of the Giants. So try to kick a target away. Your chances to defend on your athletics and are higher if you're hidden or invisible. You can kick targets up to twice the weight that shoving them would allow. So it's a nice way of trying to kick enemies off of ledges, beams, that sort of thing. Barbarian level 6 brings an additional rage charge and elemental cleaver. So channel primordial might into your weapon. Until the end of your rage, your weapon will deal additional acid, cold, fire, lightning, or thunder damage and gain the thrown property. If thrown, it will immediately reappear in your hand. Now what's really cool about this is obviously you can do this with any weapon, so I'm going to give you 2 options for weapons for this build and you can make your decision from there. Barbarian level 7 brings Feral Instinct. You've honed your instincts to the utmost degree. You gain a +3 bonus to initiative and can't be surprised. Basically like a lesser version of Alert because that's a +5, but pretty decent. Barbarian level 8 brings a new feat. So for this one, you probably guessed it, but we're going to max our strength out at 20. Now if you really wanted to, you could, I guess, leave your strength at 16 and just use strength potions and bump up, say, your constitution, something like that, but it kind of depends on your playstyle. Now for level 9, we do gain brutal critical, so when you land a critical hit, you roll an extra damage die, as well as the normal additional critical dice. Barbarian level 10 brings Mighty Impel. Throw a creature or object that is medium-sized or smaller. Heavier creatures and objects deal more damage on impact. So as you can tell, this is a very throw-heavy subclass. Barbarian level 11 brings Relentless Rage. So once per short rest, if you drop to 0 hit points, while enraged, you regain 1 hit point instead of being downed. Barbarian level 12 brings our final feat, as well as 1 more additional rage charge. So for this one, I would personally come all the way down here, and I would take Tavern Brawler. When you make an unarmed attack, use an improvised weapon, or throw something, your strength modifier is added twice to the damage and attack rolls. Obviously, you could take something like Great Weapon Master, you could take something like Savage Attacker, but if you are going with a throw-heavy build like I am, Tavern Brawler is the way forward. Okay, so let's go over the items, and we're going to start with the Bone Spike Helmet. So when you rage, hostile creatures in a 3 meter radius must succeed a Wisdom throw, or take 2 to 8 psychic damage. They'll take half damage on a save. The Flesh Melter Cloak, so if we're hit within melee, we will deal 1 to 4 acid damage to attackers. The Disintegrating Nightwalkers, so we can't be enwebbed, entangled, or ensnared, and we can't slip on ice or grease. We also gain Misty Step. The Graceful Cloth, now there's a lot of barbarian clothing you can use. There's some really good ones. There's like the fiery one that Karlak can use and stuff like that. For me, I like the Graceful Cloth just because we get that dexterity up by 2. And a 1 bonus to dexterity saving throws and increase our jump distance by 1.5. We're going to take the Helldust Glove, so +1 bonus to spell attack rolls and spell save DC, not important. but our weapon attacks deal an additional 1 to 6 fire damage. We also gain Rays of Fire, so if you do want to throw a spell out, you could. We're going to take the Killer Sweethearts. When we kill a creature, our next attack will be a guaranteed critical hit, however this is once per short rest. The Caustic Band, so our weapon attacks will do an additional 2 damage. The Surge and Subjugation Amulets, so once per long rest, when scoring a critical hit on a humanoid, we can paralyse them for 2 turns. And then finally, when it comes to weapons, I will be using the Lightning Jabber. Reason being is, really cool throw weapon, you can shock enemies, it does an additional lightning damage when thrown, and thanks to our class abilities, it will appear back in our hand. If you wanted to go full just like two-handed, I would personally take the Sword of Chaos. We'll gain a bunch of damage on a hit, regain 1/6 hit points, and thanks to our class abilities, this would also appear back in your hand. So you have multiple options here for what you want to do. So that is the build, let's go find some combat and check it out. Okay, you can see we're in combat and we're actually quite high up the turn order, so we're just going to get to our turn. And now it's our turn, so the first thing we're going to do, you already know, we are going to Rage. And there we go, we've got that Giant's Rage. Now unfortunately, we were too far away, I should have moved up, and then we could have triggered our Bone Spike Helmet, but it is what it is. We're also going to apply our Elemental Cleaver. Now if we go into this, we can pick our damage type, so let's do Thunder. And there we go, and now let's get ready to start tanking the battlefield. Now from here, we can actually start doing some of our stuff. So let's throw our Lightning Jabber. And we'll throw onto this enemy here, even though it says we're threatened, it should be okay. And there you go, you'll see we cause bleeding, and it appeared right back in our hand. And because that counts as an attack, once again, we can throw it. So we'll target the enemy. And there you go, and you can just see we are pumping out so much damage with this. You see they're taking the bleed damage, and they're taking acid damage from attacking us. Now of course this isn't just a throw based build, we can just do very regular attacks, and you'll see we gained Executioner. Now Executioner means we can guarantee a crit, and this will work if we throw our Lightning Jabber. Just like that, you'll see they took a bunch of damage and they have 2 turns of bleed again. And of course, we still got our Boots of the Giant, we still got our Mighty Impale. So, if I was to, let's say, if I can turn the camera, come around here, we will Mighty Impale. We'll just throw our Lightning Jabber again. And we'll target this one. And there you go, you can see we benefit from all bunch of damage and spread more bleed. You'll see every time they hit us, they're taking the acid damage thanks to our cloak. And there you go, more bleed on the enemy there. And as you can tell, this is just such a fun build to do. So let's trigger Executioner. And there you go, you'll see the massive amount of damage we caused, and we can then paralyze them thanks to our amulet. And we can follow that up again by throwing our Lightning Jabber. So we'll target the enemy here. Or not, because we hit the wall, that's not helpful. What we'll do instead is then we'll shove Mighty Boot, so you can get a gist of this as well. And you can see we did necrotic damage and kick them as hard as we could. And you see the enemy is paralyzed for a turn. And they're still causing bleed on the enemies there, so you can throw your Lightning Jabber around, cause bleed to the enemies, and really deal extra damage on their turns without you having to do anything. But at this point, it's very simply just a case of finishing the fight. So you see we did another crit. We could then throw our Lightning Jabber at this enemy, get it back in our hand, close the gap here a little bit, and we can Mighty Impale, throw the Lightning Jabber once again. And unfortunately we missed, but you get the gist. We could have done 3 big attacks in 1 round. And of course, thanks to our equipment, we can also get to hard to reach places. Now, obviously, if we wanted to Misty Step, we'd have to not be raging. But instead, what we can do is we can start closing distance. And as you can see, we're running out of space. So let's say we've run out of movement. Well, because we're a throw build, you know how it is. We can just throw at the enemies and start pumping out the damage. And of course, we have all these things like our menacing attack. So if we were to do this, there you go, you see we cause blood loss and all sorts, as well as a shocking grasp. And then we could even do boots. and end the fight like that. So you really get the gist of this. It's very much a very one-man army where you can just throw things as hard as you can, dealing damage, closing down enemies. You're good with ranged and with melee, and you just have to use the same weapon. So I really do hope you've enjoyed this build. If you have, let me know in the comments below, and let me know what you changed, any new items, abilities, all of that. Let me know what you think about patch 8 and all the new subclasses. If you aren't already, please subscribe to the channel for more. I've got more guides to Baldur's Gate, to Path of Exile, to Dragon Age, to all the RPGs you could ever need. Regardless, I really do hope you've enjoyed, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.